Hello, my name is Shel Fuller, and welcome to Let's Talk About It. We live in a time where misinformation spreads faster than ever, fueled by social media, biased news sources, and AI-generated content. Fake news is used to manipulate public opinion, create political division, and undermine trust in institutions. Governments, corporations, and extremist groups exploit disinformation to shape narratives and push agendas. With deepfakes, manipulated images, and AI-generated text, it's becoming harder to distinguish truth from fiction. People often fall into echo chambers, where they only consume information that reinforces their beliefs. This polarization makes society more vulnerable to conspiracy theories and radical ideologies. To navigate this landscape, critical thinking, media literacy, and fact-checking are essential. Understanding who benefits from certain narratives and verifying sources can help individuals make informed decisions in a world where reality is constantly being distorted. That is why I've decided to create a YouTube series entitled Let's Talk About It. On Let's Talk About It, I will focus on one topic and provide you with a brief history or background of that topic, researched and sourced facts that are important for you to begin to build your own opinion. These videos will not be all the info that you may need, but I hope it will inspire people to take the initiative and dive deeper into these topics independently. Let's Talk About It will not contain my own personal viewpoints or opinions, thereby giving each listener space to build their own thoughts on a particular topic. Today I will be talking about Germany's Alternative for Deutschland, or AfD party, and why this right-wing party is gaining in popularity. On February 23, 2025, Germany held a snap federal election to elect the 21st Bundestag, the country's federal parliament. These elections were called earlier than scheduled due to the collapse of the previous coalition government in November of 2024. The previous coalition government, known as the Traffic Light Coalition between the SPD, Greens, and FDP, collapsed in November 2024 following disputes over economic policies and the debt brake issue. Chancellor Olaf Scholz's dismissal of Finance Minister Christian Lindner led to the government downfall. Subsequently, a vote of confidence was held on December 16, 2024, which Scholz lost, prompting the call for early elections. The election is expected to result in a change of leadership, with Friedrich Merz from the CDU likely becoming the next chancellor. The far-right AfD is predicted to secure second place, though its controversial policies have led to no other party expressing willingness to form a coalition with it. Some of the current key issues facing Germany at the moment are economic concerns. Germany is facing economic challenges, including a recession and debates over fiscal policies. Immigration and asylum policies. The AfD, they've gained a lot of support by advocating for stricter immigration controls, while other parties are discussing reforms to the asylum system. Energy and climate change. Debates continue over energy policies, with parties proposing various approaches to address climate change and energy security. Considering Germany's history involving the former Nazi party, the increasing popularity of the AfD has sparked some concerns on an international scale. Therefore, I want to give you more information about Germany's AfD party. Please note that all information and facts in this video are based on publicly available information up to February 23, 2025. If you are watching or listening to this at some point in the future, please note that things could have changed since this recording. The Alternative for Deutschland, AfD, was founded on February 6, 2013 by a group of economists, journalists, and former members of the Germany's conservative parties. Initially, the party was mainly focused on opposing the Eurozone bailout policies, arguing that Germany should abandon the euro to protect its economy. As the party evolved, it shifted toward right-wing populism and nationalism, gaining traction during the 2015 refugee crisis by strongly opposing Angela Merkel's open-door migration policies. Over time, the AfD became increasingly associated with anti-immigration, Euroscepticism, and nationalistic rhetoric, attracting both conservative and far-right voters. By 2017, the AfD entered the Bundestag, or the German parliament, for the first time, becoming the largest opposition party at that time. However, the party has faced internal divisions and controversies over extremist elements, surveillance by German intelligence, and its stance on issues like climate change, COVID-19 measures, and historical revisionism. Before the AfD came onto the scene, the most well-known right-wing political party was the NPD, which is the National Democratic Party of Germany. The NPD is an openly far-right extremist party with neo-Nazi ties, while the AfD is a nationalist right-wing populist party that appeals to a broader conservative and protest voter base. While both oppose immigration and the EU, the NPD is explicitly racist and anti-democratic, whereas the AfD presents itself as a democratic nationalist alternative, though it has radical factions. And just a quick side note, since we're talking about the NPD, one of the funniest and bravest things that I've seen was Olivia Jones attending an NPD meeting. So Olivia Jones is a well-known German drag queen, entertainer, and activist who has been really outspoken against right-wing extremism. And in 2013, she attended an NPD party meeting in full drag as part of a political satire stunt, confronting members of the far-right party and highlighting their extremist views in a humorous but still critical way. You have to go and check it out. So if you want to see this amazing video, it's in German, but it's just the visual. You will just understand. It's wonderful. So I've always had just a high level of respect for Olivia Jones after seeing this video. So if you want to see this amazing video, you can find it on YouTube by typing in Olivia Jones NPD Parteitag, or if you just type in Olivia Jones NPD. German political parties like the AfD and the NPD often employ populist and nationalist rhetoric to appeal to voters. So they typically focus on issues like immigration and national identity, blaming immigrants or external groups for various social and economic problems. This tactic can create a sense of fear or urgency, positioning themselves as protectors of national interests. They also frequently frame themselves as outsiders, challenging a corrupt or detached establishment, which can resonate with voters who feel neglected by traditional parties. Targeting foreigners or refugees is in their propaganda serves several purposes for these parties. It provides a clear and easily identifiable other to blame for societal issues, which can unify their base around a common enemy. This tactic also strokes fear and uncertainty, making their proposed solutions more appealing. Additionally, these narratives tap into existing prejudices or economic anxieties, simplifying complex problems and offering straightforward scapegoats. This can be particularly effective in times of economic or social strain. The AfD connects economic hardship to immigration, arguing that refugees and asylum seekers are draining social welfare, while Germans struggle with rising rents and prices. They claim that funding for immigrants should go to struggling German citizens, and this message resonates especially with lower-income voters who feel left behind. So, although the AfD's argument is politically effective, it is not entirely accurate when examined with economic data, and here's why. These are the facts. So what's true? That many lower income voters feel left behind, and the idea that government funds go to immigrants instead of struggling Germans resonates emotionally, even if its economic reality is more complex. In some cities, especially in Eastern Germany, high immigration levels have increased demand for housing and social services, contributing to shortages and rising costs. And the last fact is, initially, many refugees rely on social assistance as they need time to learn the language and integrate into the new labor market. But what is misleading and false? In actuality, immigrants do not drain the economy. Studies show that while refugees initially rely on welfare, many contribute positively to the economy once integrated through taxes, consumer spending, and labor in critical sectors like construction, logistics, and elderly care. Rising costs are actually driven by multiple factors. In this case, inflation, energy prices, real estate speculation, and supply chain issues have a far greater impact on rents and prices than immigration. And the German economy needs immigrants. Due to an aging population, Germany requires skilled and unskilled migrant workers to fill labor shortages, especially in healthcare, manufacturing, and service industries. This was also the same issue that Germany had during what they called the Wirtschaftswunder, that was in the 60s or 70s, I believe, where they allowed many Turkish immigrants to come from Turkey to Germany because they didn't have enough people to actually fill specialist positions. So the AfD exploits economic fears by simplifying a complex issue. While housing and welfare systems face real challenges, blaming refugees ignores larger economic factors like housing market failures, inflation, and government spending priorities. But their argument still resonates with struggling voters, but it is not fully supported by the economic reality. Germany's economy is facing significant challenges with a 0.2% contraction in 2024, marking the second consecutive year of decline. While modest growth is expected in 2025, the overall economic outlook remains uncertain. While there is hope for modest recovery, persistent high costs, weak demand, and structural challenges means that Germany's economy will likely experience slow growth rather than a rapid rebound. Germany follows the constitutional debt brake, or what they call a Schuldenbremse. It was introduced in 2009, which limits new government borrowing to 0.35% of the GDP per year, except in emergencies. This rule was temporarily suspended during COVID pandemic, but was reinstated in 2023, leading to significant political and economic debates. One of the issues with the debt brake is that it has a limit on borrowing, which reduces the government's spending on infrastructure, digitalization, and energy transition projects. Critics argue this slows down economic modernization and growth. The government has been forced to cut spending and reduce subsidies affecting welfare programs and green energy funding. Unlike EU nations, Germany cannot borrow freely to stimulate the economy during downturns, making it harder to boost demand in times of recession. And with Germany already experiencing weak growth, limited fiscal stimulus prevents stronger government intervention to help struggling businesses and industries. So, the AfD has capitalized on Germany's economic struggles to increase its support, particularly in Eastern Germany. The ongoing slow growth, high energy costs, and budget cuts have created widespread dissatisfaction, which the AfD has effectively channeled into their populist messaging. The AfD argues that the current coalition government is responsible for Germany's economic downturn, saying it proves that the government is incompetent at managing finances. They claim that high taxes, overregulation, and EU policies are making German businesses uncompetitive. The AfD strongly criticizes Germany's energy transition, blaming it for high electricity prices and industry struggles. They advocate for keeping coal and nuclear power to lower costs and reduce dependency on foreign energy sources. Also a major factor in the AfD popularity is the unresolved issues related to the former GDR, the former Eastern Germany. Eastern Germany has become a stronghold of the AfD, where it consistently outperforms mainstream parties. In some eastern states like Saxony or Brandenburg, the AfD is polling as the leading party ahead of the 2024-2025 state elections. Many Eastern Germans feel that 30 years after the reunification, they are still treated as second-class citizens compared to the West. Lower wages, weaker infrastructure, and fewer job opportunities than in Western Germany create economic frustration. Many Eastern voters do not trust traditional parties as they feel that left-wing and conservative governments have ignored their problems. People vote for the AfD not necessarily because they fully support its policies, but as a protest against the political establishment. the AfD has successfully turned Eastern Germany and their frustrations and their anti-elite sentiment and skepticism towards immigration into their political strength. With its nationalist, anti-establishment, and populist messaging, it has become the dominant and political force in many Eastern states, threatening traditional parties in the 2024-2025 elections. So in today's episode, we explored the rise of Germany's Alternative for Deutschland, a right-wing populist party that has gained traction by capitalizing on economic frustrations. The AfD messaging, which simplifies complex issues like immigration and economic policy, has resonated strongly in Eastern Germany, where they already feel neglected. However, their arguments often overlook broader economic realities, such as Germany's need for migrant workers to address labor shortages and the multifaceted causes of rising costs. The upcoming snap elections in February could mark a significant shift in German politics, with the AfD poised to secure a substantial portion of the vote, yet its controversial policies and extremist elements have left it isolated, as no other major party is willing to form a coalition with it. This raises important questions about the future of German democracy and the potential for further polarization. So as we navigate this complex political landscape, critical thinking and media literacy are essential. Understanding motivations behind political narratives and verifying facts can help us make informed decisions. The rise of the AfD serves as a reminder of how economic and social anxieties can be exploited, but it also underscores the importance of engaging deeply with the issues that shape our societies. Thank you for listening or watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more discussions on Let's Talk About It. Thank you, and have a great day.